Hello everybody, welcome to another video. It's time for the February stats, but there's a bit of a problem this month because my Raspberry Pi, the small SD card that runs the operating system on my Raspberry Pi, decided to go kaput part way through the month. And it's not even just a case of it got some corruption on it or something, but and I could recover files from it. It literally is completely dead. So I don't know what happened, but it died, and unfortunately I lost over 10 days worth of data. I should have only lost a day at most, but unfortunately unfortunately, the machine that I use as a place to store backups from of my database from my Raspberry Pi, which happens every day, it does a backup at midnight, had also had a problem that I wasn't aware of, and so it was sitting there on the startup screen waiting for someone to press a key before it would boot up. But because I don't monitor it, I didn't know that it was doing that, and so it wasn't actually running. And so when the Raspberry Pi tried to back up the database every night, it would create the archive file and try and FTP it over to this other machine where it would be stored, and was unsuccessful. And so I didn't notice that until obviously I came to try and recover the backups for the new Raspberry Pi SD card that I got, and then I discovered that actually the last backup happened 10 days ago, and I've lost 10 days worth of data. Now I was really hoping that there would be some way for me to recover the data from the card, but as I say, it doesn't even register at all, so I think it's literally frazzled something inside. It's just, as far as the USB read is concerned, you haven't even inserted anything, so it is completely dead. So I think that data's gone for good. There's not a lot of chance of me recovering it, and it's a shame because that data included some of the sunniest days that we've had. There was particularly some 3 days in a row where we had really great deal of sunshine. One of them was like a perfect day where there wasn't a cloud in the sky, and we would have generated a lot, and it probably would have been the best day of February, but unfortunately, like I say, it's gone, so I haven't got it. The other downside is that I also lost my temperature data that I've been collecting for my central heating experiments. So I'm collecting outside temperature versus inside temperature while I've been trialing different things with my boiler and stuff to see what works, and that temperature data is also more than 10 days of that has gone missing as well, which is again not really very good, and I should have found some way to alert myself that the backups were failing, but unfortunately I didn't. It's something I kept meaning to do and never quite got round to, and lesson learned, I will be trying to implement something along those lines in future, so that I get some kind of warning that these things are not working. But anyway, we do have some data for February, but obviously you're going to have to take some of this with a pinch of salt if comparing it to any previous months, because obviously the data is incomplete. So let's have a look at what we've got. The total amount of energy we generated in February is 421.87 kilowatt hours. Now I think this figure will be correct, because this basically just works off of the total generation as supplied by the inverters. So even though I've lost data from my database, the total generation as supplied by the inverters should be correct. So I think that this is the correct amount for the month. And I think that's pretty much almost like double what we were getting in January. And that makes a lot more sense because, the sun's getting higher. The wall panels are doing really, really well at this time of year. This is kind of getting towards their optimum time. And also the sun's just high enough now to clear some of the trees that are in gardens a few down the hill from mine to reach the new solar panels on the roof of my power shed here. So these are producing quite a bit more now on sunny days than they were in the months before because of shading. That they weren't doing so well, but now I'm getting a more reasonable amount. So that's good. Let's have a look. The best day, now this won't be accurate, according to this, is the 1st of February. So on the best day we generated 23.6 kilowatt hours. But this is not really the best day. I think the best day was one of the last few days before the Raspberry Pi blew up. So I think it probably was somewhere towards the end of February. As I said, there was a perfect day. There wasn't a cloud in the sky, and it came at the end of like 3 sunny days. That would have been the best day. But anyway, so you have to take this one with a pinch of salt. It's probably not really the best day. It'd be interesting to know what everyone else's best days were for February. It probably would have been the same as my best day, because I think the whole country was getting pretty much a good deal of sunshine in those 3 days. So that probably would have been the same for me. The worst day was the 13th of February, according to this, and we generated just a couple of kilowatt hours on that day, probably just enough to keep the bare minimum in the house running, and that's it. We imported a total of 300 kilowatt hours from the grid, and again that is probably wrong, because I think that value does get calculated based on import values that are stored in the database which have been lost, so that is probably not correct. So I've just checked with my Octopus bill, and we actually imported 574 kilowatt hours. And so most of these pie charts that I usually show are probably also not entirely correct. The proportions are probably right in terms of this percentage of the power generated came from this inverter and what have you, but the totals are probably not that right. Although in the case of generated power, again, this probably is correct, because these values come from the inverters themselves. So we can see that the shed-mounted solar is now at nearly 7%. This is more significant, I think, than in January. So definitely those shadows have finally gone, and starting to get some more generation from the roof of the shed. This roof is quite flat. It's only got a very slight angle on it towards the south. So actually this will peak when the sun is, when we're almost near the middle of the year, the best day, the most longest days of the year. Probably just before that, these will be at their optimum and perpendicular to the sun's rays. So that should keep going up. And then I think the wall-mounted solar is pretty much slightly up on January, but only slightly. But yeah, that's it really. Nothing particularly special going on there. Let's have a look at the generated power versus used versus exported. and we're sitting at nearly 97% used, which is fantastic. Again, these figures won't be entirely correct, but they're broadly in line, because yeah, those, I know those three sunny days that are missing, when we generated quite a lot, I did manage to use all of it. None of it got exported, so I know that would make for a good amount of extra to be in the used section. So if anything, this used section would probably go up a little bit higher, but you know, that's really good that only about 3% of it was exported. That's really fantastic. Looking now at where the power that we have consumed went, yeah, nearly a quarter of it's gone into the cars. The immersion is taking up nearly 13%. Still heating all of our hot water using electricity now, not using gas at all. And then the rest, yeah, nothing in particularly special there, except that the gaming has gone down since my son's gone back to university. As a proportion, it's down dramatically over what January's figure was. And finally, the energy mix. Again, this is not going to be very accurate, unfortunately. The generated part will be correct, but the amount we pull from the grid is not going to be correct. So this pie chart is actually doesn't tell us anything really at all, and that's unfortunate. But it would have been nice to see where things are going relative to January. But yeah, we'll just have to leave it as it is, because there's not a lot I can do about it. Let's now have a look at the half-hourly usage graph, showing exactly when we used energy from the grid for each day of the month of February. We've had no off-grid streaks, still not enough sunshine for that to happen yet. So you can see 17th, 18th, 19th, 20th. These are all the days that are missing. And there's the 28th. Okay, so that's it for the stats for February. Yeah, lessons learned. Make sure that the backup processes is all working properly, and find some way to alert myself when it isn't, to hopefully prevent things like this happening in future. Yeah, hopefully next month we'll have a proper month of stats again, and that will be more useful. Okay, I have got some more videos coming. It's just taking a while to collate everything together to have something to present. And at this time of year, unfortunately, it's so freezing cold out here in the shed that it's not particularly pleasant to sit out here spending hours editing, getting really cold. So I tend to try and avoid it when I can. So yeah, there will be some more coming, so stay tuned. I have got some news around my progress towards coming off fossil fuels, which now more than ever seems even more important, but I'll keep that for the next video. So in the meantime, thanks for watching. Please like, comment, share, subscribe, and I will see you on the next video. Cheers.